Hey guys, I came up with kind of a unique idea. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my old BMX magazines and some of the history of our sport is really all in these magazines. And, it's the only thing that's kind of a shame about this is I think it was like back in 2013, I got on this bright idea that maybe I can sell some of these magazines on eBay. And I started posting them. And the funny thing is that not only did they sell, I mean, they sold really well. I sold a ton of them, and I sold some of the more vintage stuff that I had that was like from 1982, 83. That stuff went super fast, and now it's kind of a shame. I look at it now and I go, man, maybe I shouldn't have sold them. I had so many of these, pretty much from 1982 all the way to present time. Now it's magazines are kind of a thing of the past. Looking at a BMX magazine, especially a brand new one, was just like watching a brand new show on Netflix. It was just so exciting, to get a new magazine. Sorry, this doesn't have a cover. I'll explain why in a moment. But, I've been collecting these and reading these, since I was 11 years old. And, all the way up, like I said, until present time, which now all we have left really is Pool Magazine. And I have to say, this is, even though this is for a USA BMX publication, this is a decent magazine. I mean, the layout on it is just phenomenal. The pictures are beautiful. It's still something I really look forward to getting each month. And I think this has a lot to do with Gork, and his experience with BMXA, BMX Action, bicycle motocross action. Uh, but it doesn't give me the same feelings that perhaps some of the old magazines did, and it's really because we just didn't have social media. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have everything that we all have access to now. That just makes looking at magazines so much kind of an archaic way of looking at stuff. But I still enjoy when this magazine shows up, and this is really a throwback to the 10-year anniversary of BMX Action, and that's one of the magazines that I sold like almost immediately. I put that thing online, and it still had the cover on it. It was still in good condition, and that thing was just gone. And as far as magazines are concerned, like back in the old days, I would read and reread these and reread these and reread these until I was just had it memorized. And I think that's why my knowledge of this sport goes down so deep. I know who raced for what team, how long they raced for, and what team they went to after. And when I hear interviews on podcasts, like recently I heard Charles Townsend on a podcast, and he was talking about his race history, and it's like I could visualize it all because of these publications. And I heard one for Daryl Young too, and I was like, wow, it's amazing how much I knew, and it was all because of this stuff. And I think it's Craig Reynolds' podcast. It's a really good podcast. But anyway, getting into this magazine, I thought we'd just kind of turn some pages and kind of take a look back at what the sport was like. And this is from January 1984. And again, I'm sorry I don't have the cover, but when I was the ones that had covers, I sold those. And a lot of times when I was younger, I would get two of them. I would literally buy one magazine that I would just read and not touch other than reading it. And then I would buy another one where I would just not be afraid to cut out the pictures and use them, and they would be all over my walls. So anyway, let's take a kind of a look back. January 1984, they were testing a Redline 2 Carrera 2, which is pretty cool. Product analyst on a Skyway Ta. Now, this is awesome because I'm a massive Skyway fan, and I just grabbed this magazine random. I just pulled one out of a cabinet and go, you know what, I'm going to make a quick video. So definitely going to take a look at that. There's Racing Schwinn Levi's NBL Grand Nationals in Nashville, and then a freestyle how-to. Now, freestyle, I was never really that much into it. I almost would get kind of mad because freestyle was getting so popular and racing was starting to kind of take a little bit of a nosedive for it. And I would go crazy. I'm like, why aren't people racing? And now I can look at it and go, it was pretty cool. That's why. We got an interview with Greg Hill here, and there's a finish line photo with Bobby Woods. And then the cover was actually Troy Daniels on a Kuahara. and he was getting busy at the NBL Grands, and of course the photo was by Bob Osborne. Now here's the funny thing: the cover's not here, but I can totally visualize the cover. I know exactly what it looked like, because I believe I got this magazine in Christmas or somewhere around Christmas. So let's open it up and take a look. Now the first thing is, this looks like what is this, Alina seat or what have you. It has the same concept as a uni seat did back in the day, and I used to run uni seats every once in a while. My buddy of mine had one of these seats. I can relate almost anything to these parts. Oh, okay, here's the vintage Haro race pants. These were some of my favorite race pants. Lost these in a move. They were boxed up along with some 09 gear and some other race gear. And when I had the stuff stored and had it shipped to the new house, these were missing. So I was really bummed about that. So I lost a lot of stuff. How many of you would kill for this number plate right now? That number plate is so cool. You can get this one underneath it still. I know that they still make those. And I was actually considering getting one of those, but when you see how big they are compared to a modern number plate, you go, wow, maybe I don't want it. And I love this Haro Jofa. I think I had one of these at one point, but it was blue. Look at Diamondback ads were so cool. I mean, look at this. They're with Formula race car guys. I mean, how freaking cool is this ad? Diamondback did not play around when it came to their ads. I mean, you have to admit, even by today's standards, that's pretty freaking cool. You know, and I can't remember. I think that's Cindy Davis there in that picture. And looks like Jason, I guess it says Witten. I can barely read it. And I can't, I know this kid's name, and I can't, well, he's a grown man now, but Brent Romero. Right, that's who that is. This kid was pretty phenomenal back in the day. You got some ads here. What are the toughest BMX frame tubes? I have no idea. You got carbon steel, chrome moly. You know, there's no carbon aluminum yet. Everybody's just running pretty much steel frames back then, but that's how we rolled back then. It's pretty neat. So let's move on. Look at yet another Diamondback, a part of the ad, introducing the Formula One. This was probably maybe a $200 bike, $250. Oh no, I was wrong. Look at that, $349. Now, still, I mean, this is a lot of bike for $349. You know, back in 1984, you know, you're spending quite a bit if you're spending $349. But honestly, you know, a high-end race bike was $500, $600, $700. So this is a really good entry-level bike, I would say, for back in the day. Again, everything is chrome moly. And, man, we loved chrome in the 80s. There's no doubt about that. And then, of course, there's the iconic Diamondback team right there with the Nora Cup 1983. It's pretty awesome. Let's take a look. What do we have here? A little trackside stuff and little talk. You know, basic stuff that you see in today's magazines with the little side stories and things like that. This guy's jumping some U-Haul trucks here. That's pretty cool. And then this is probably one of my favorite ads. This is when... right before I got a Skyway, I remember looking at this ad thinking, man, I want a Skyway really bad. You know, it's just pretty cool when I see this now. And look at that beautiful frame set, man. I just love that. I love it. There's some graphites back there. All this stuff right now is worth thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's pretty funny. Now look at, kid's got CW handlebars. You got Bob Madrano. He's got his CW handlebars on. We got Bob Haro here. There was a time, man, where everybody ran CW handlebars, and I know now people kind of talk trash about them. You know, they were no good, blah, blah, blah. But I had CW handlebars. I remember being at local races, and everybody on the gate, from lane 1 to lane 8, everybody was running CW handlebars. They were like super popular in the 80s, and I liked mine, you know, but I had moved on from there. This is a really cool gate set. Look at this. The woodwork may be a little cobby, but the electronics are state of the art. Is that really a cool? I would use that today. And here's Mike Miranda getting busy on that gate. And check out his the way he coiled himself up when he was on the gate. That looks cool even today. I think that's awesome. And look at that, CW bars. Of course, he was CW factory. And you can see how he has his 09 plate curled over the handlebars. Now, that was a big deal, you know, to curl it over the handlebars. I used to take a blow dryer and heat it all up so it would soften the plastic, and then I could roll it over the handlebars. And so I would have that look And I copied that from the magazines because I would see, guys doing this, and to me that just looks so cool. And I really like how we had the oversized numbers on the plates. That just looks really, really cool. And look, here's your sticker packs, 50 cents each. Real basic stickers that we had all over our stuff, helmets, number plates, wherever you can put the stickers. Here's your Raleigh team. You got some Don Jolie. That's pretty cool. Jason Christie, Dylan Spears, Misty Dong. This is really cool. Sam Mariano. I know he did some, I think he was on Mongoose when Mongoose was really only sponsoring him, if I remember correctly. Okay, let's move on. I'm not sure about this frame. Never heard of this company. Akisu. Maybe some of you guys have. I don't know. Get a little Trackside Gallery. Now, this is how I would look at magazines. I would just, when I first would get it, I would literally just go through it and just look at all the pictures and read the captions. I would do that several times, and then I would go back and actually start reading the magazine. Now, this is really cool. This book right here, The Complete Book of BMX by Bob Osborne. My cousin had this book, and it was awesome. I remember I spent the Christmas vacation at his house reading this book. I thought it was really cool. You got some tires here. Looked like a little bit of a knockoff of the Tioga Comp 3s, even though they're a little bit different, and it's by Pana Racer. Lightweight's never seen or owned those. Little dyno ad there. Oh, I had some of these hubs. I used to have a Panda Pro-Am, and it had these hubs on it, these Suzy hubs. I thought that was pretty cool. There's GHP was just kicking off. They picked up Charlie Williams, and then, of course, that is so iconic right there. Mike Buff looking cool with the mirrored lenses on his goggles. That was really cool. And of course, there was no way you were going to pick up a BMX magazine in the 80s and not have something with Greg Hill in it. This guy was my absolute favorite racer, back in the day. Definitely. Yeah, he was the guy I tried to emulate pretty much, even though I, of course, wasn't nowhere near as good as he was. Tommy Brackens. I actually met him at a race in Reno years and years after he had retired, and I wasn't even racing at the time, and I recognized him, and he took the time to take a photo with me. He's a really cool guy, really genuine guy. And then check out this ad here for, it was at Yukai Wheels. I've had some of these on some bikes. I had a chrome set, and this is pretty cool. This Derek Garcia kid at the time, he could jump. I remember seeing him on ESPN in some races, and of course Clint Miller was the man for a while. And then here we go. This is cool. Now again, I was not a big freestyle guy, but you have to appreciate how cool Ariel Osborne was. Redline just got trigger, and that is just so cool. And you think about like the movie Rad, and you would think about, boy, watching this guy in the opening credits, with Martin Aparijo, and Eddie Fiola, and they were just doing their thing. I was like, man, those guys just look so cool, Oh, here we go. We got another Redline 600A. Pretty cool bike. Again, this looks like more like an entry-level bike, but at least it has 2 or 3 piece cranks on it. I'm not sure what these are, which is really cool. And it does have Comp 3s on it. And, fully chrome molly. I mean, this is a really good bike. Back in the day, I mean, if you got something like this, you take it to the track and you're racing, man. That's it. And you're being competitive. So that was pretty cool. Look at all the JT Racing products that you can get. Oh my gosh. I never owned a pair of JT Racing pants, but I always thought they were really cool. And there, of course, there's Toby Henderson. Really cool. I had one of these Jofas too. I had a pair of these JT Racing gloves. I definitely owned a pair of those. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, I know I had some cotton ones. I actually had those color, or that color, excuse me. I had those. And then here we go. They're testing the Line Carrera. You got Big Stu Thompson here doing his thing. Now, take a look at this for a second. I mean, this is a photo by Bob Osborne, and this is the kind of stuff that would really motivate you to go want to ride your bike, because this is the kind of thing that you just don't see today. I mean, look at this. This is just beautiful, and I would just take this stuff out. This would be something that I would definitely hang up when I was a kid. Although I tried not to get things that had a lot of words on it. But this is just a phenomenal shot. I mean, you just have to appreciate how cool our magazines were. And then check this out. Same test. Bob Osborne. Look at this. It's got a little sequence. Obviously, that we didn't have a lot of video things, so you had. This is how you learned. This is how we enjoyed the, you know, looking at how-tos and things like that. It was just by frames of pictures like that. And look at that. He's just in the mud. That's just pretty cool, you have to admit. And that's black and white, and it's still really cool. And here we go. We got this is cool because you see RL's actual bike, and then you got Stu's here. So you got the race version of the Redline, and then you see RL's bike, which is basically a race bike back then. Although this was intended for freestyle, and you have to admit it does look pretty cool with the tough wheels. And then let's just keep going. This video is taking much longer than I thought, so I probably won't finish the magazine. But and then check it out. You got RL doing his thing on the test bike, and then of course they did 5 minutes with Stu. And you know what's really cool is, I mean, before you would go buy a bike, you can actually watch these guys test it, and it would get you pumped up to get it. I think it got me a couple times watching these tests, especially Haro came out with a race bike. I want to say it was like 1984, 1985. And I got the Haro RS1 because of watching it being tested in this magazine. You know, I'm like, oh, I have to have that. And, you know, I ended up getting it. And this is just going on. And look at this photo. I mean, how freaking cool is that? It's just amazing. I still look back at this and I'm just amazed. And here we go. We still got Stu. And how many of us use these donuts? Did they serve any purpose? Not really. I don't think so, but they just look cool. So, you know, I probably would put 2 or 3 on my grips at a time. And I know I went through a ton of blue ones. You know, that was pretty cool. You got your Scorpion here. Never seen anybody actually ride one of these, but I remember the ads really clear, but I'd never seen anybody actually have one local. Look, check out the Vans ad. Very cool. Very cool. I love that. And then you got your Mongoose ad here. I know I'm going a little fast. Sorry, guys. But, man, they just did reproductions of these bikes. Recently, you can actually buy these complete now. The quality is probably not as good as they were then, but I've seen some YouTube videos on them, and they seem pretty cool. Now, check that out. CW Phase 1 with the lightning bolt down tube, and from what I understand, this was just a gimmick for a bike show, and they ended up producing some of these, and you gotta admit, that just looks very cool. You got your gear race pants, pretty cool. They go from your top of the line to your middle and to your base, you know, and it's just really cool, man. And if you look at the prices for these, it's kind of nice. You know, you got a jersey you can pick up for like 24. What is it? Oh, it doesn't even show the prices. Oh yeah, $50 for the pants. Not too bad. $75 for them here. You know, I guess that's about comparable to what we pay today. I mean, race pants are not that expensive, but man, nothing beats your name on the back of the pants. You know, too bad. It's too bad that's not a thing anymore. I always thought that was really cool. I mean, I always had my name on the back of my pants. And here we go. What I've been waiting for. Product analysis. Skyway Ta. Frame and fork set. Oh, man. This just made my mouth water when I was a kid. I wanted this bike so bad. I saved my money and I got one, you know. And I actually just got the frame and fork just like this. And I had a cheap Taiwan knockoff BMX bike. I think it was called a Sakaya or something like that. It was like not a very good bike. But I put enough good parts on it that I made it decent enough to race with. And when I finally cracked the frame, which I had cracked it like right here, my parents let me buy a new frame and fork, and I could not wait to put this together. My dad helped me put it together, and I raced that thing for years. And as you know, I still have a Skyway Ta right now sitting in my office. And yeah, this is just so awesome. I just love looking at this stuff. Oh man, so of course Comp 3s. These things ruled the roost, man, forever. Everybody ran Comp 3s. It's probably the most copied tire in BMX history. I mean, even every department store bike had some sort of knockoff Comp 3s. Again, something that I miss is having the knobby tires. We all run kind of the smooth street type tire now. And now this is awesome. Now here we go. Greg Hill, second ad, you know. So this guy just he's getting paid for this. And this is amazing. I mean, look at this, man. Second time he's had a significant one-page ad in the same magazine. Now, Zap pads, because Greg Hill ran them, I wanted them. And I finally got a pair of them. I had this one right here with the blue lightning stripe on it and the chrome finish, and those things were just amazing. I ran them until they started to discolor. They started to kind of turn yellow, and then the little clear coat on top started to peel off. So I ran them for as long as I possibly could. I just thought those were just amazing, as far as pads are concerned. And here we go. We got the quality Hutch Prox high performance Hutch. Man, this stuff was just like jewelry. I mean, look how beautiful that is, and it's worth so much money today. I don't know whatever happened with GX, and I never really thought that was a cool look for me, so I never really even ventured into that, and I have no idea if anybody actually ran these that I can remember anyway. I don't know what a Piranha is, guys, but it's right here, another entry-level complete bike. But what is really cool about the 80s is there was a lot. It was a Royce Union, so there was a Ross, excuse me. So there was a lot of complete bike options that you can get back in the day, and that's really cool. You have to admit that you can just walk into a bike shop and get a complete, and that's kind of more or less what the big bike situation is right now. The guys running the big 29-inch bikes, you can walk into a bike shop and take your pick. I mean, there's just a ton of options thanks to SE Racing making that whole thing like a big thing. And now look at this, NBL Grands. And without looking, I'm going to guess this is Charlie Williams. Let me see. Yep, Charlie Williams. I was right. And look at this it's like art to me. I mean, just seeing these pictures, And then you got Eric Roop, and this guy's still getting busy. There must have been a centerfold here because there's a page missing. And I got, I took the page out to hang it up, and check it out, Mr. Sewell doing his thing. This guy, rest in peace, was just a beast. And oh my gosh, Doug Davis, superstar amateur, and of course one of the most iconic Harry Larry pictures here. These guys were just straight rock stars, and I think it was really just because of these magazines, it just made them huge. And I was just talking about it, Daryl Young. I just listened to an interview with this guy, and he was talking about his experience as a racer, which I thought was pretty amazing. It was just, he said, being a BMX pro was like being on vacation for several years. And I was like, wow, that just sounds amazing. It was only things that I could just imagine. And then, of course, Sherry Elliott, one of my favorite racers. Obviously, she was not just because of Skyway. I just thought she was super rad, super successful real estate agent now. And then once again, if you look at Jason Johnson here, look at the 09 plate wrapped around the handlebars. I'll tell you, that was like a real thing, melting it down and making it fit. And then look at this, man. These were my heroes right here. You got Scott Clark. I'm not looking. I'm just going to do my best. Scott Clark, Greg Hill, Toby Henderson. I think that's Brian Patterson back there. And you got Harry Larry. And based on the corner of that helmet, I'm going to guess that's Eric Rupin. Looks like Tommy Brackens. And how do I know all this stuff? I can't tell you. It's just from reading these magazines over and over and over. And a lot of these races were in a ESPN series that was just awesome. Anytime I could catch it, I would record it on a VHS. And of course, there's Toby Henderson right there. And this just goes on, and you you got Scott Clark. That's a great photo of him right there. You can just tell how tired he is. And Donnie Atherton, this dude was a beast as well. And this is only going off of what I've seen in magazines. If I ever made it to a national, which was very rare, but when I got to go to nationals, and you would see these guys just walking around in the pits and actually racing, it was just like seeing Michael Jordan to me. I'm like, wow, this is just amazing. Here's another Mongoose ad for the Mongoose Pro class, and this just is just amazing how much goes into the ad. And here we go again. This is the third one-page ad for Greg Hill. This is why this guy was just imprinted in my mind. I always wanted to be just like him as far as a racer is concerned. And there he is introducing his GHP product. Now remember, that's the third time we've seen him in a one-page ad. Not to mention the fact that we just seen him racing at the Grands. He's got a nice picture going on there as well, and you got Max Racing products here. These seat covers are really nice. I thought those were really cool. I never really wore Max products, but you know, you got to appreciate how cool they are. And look at these are all the freestyle guys. Martin, and this one's gonna escape me. I know he was like, I can see him in the movie Rad, but his name is Pat Romano. I'm trying not to cheat. And you've got Woody Itzen, Mike Buff, and it's just crazy that I know these. It's crazy. Moving on. Oh, these grips were pretty awesome. Now, these are Oakley B1Bs. Now, I bought these at least 2 times, but the sleeve would wear out and tear. But you can get replacement sleeves. But by the time the sleeve wore out, this was pretty much dead too. So, you know, it was probably not worth it. That's why I used Amy grips like 99% of the time. Here we go again. You got Ariel doing his thing. Ariel got a lot of coverage, man. He sure did. And look at this how-tos. This is perfect. Like I said, I wasn't a big freestyler, but I can still appreciate how cool these guys actually were. You know, we're 26 minutes in, guys. I'm going to try to get through this magazine. You got Vector products, more tires, and oh my gosh, profile cranks. These are still super popular, and if you can get profile cranks from this era, it's going to cost you quite a bit. And I had a set of these on my Haro RS1, and I think they were $150 when I got them in the late 80s, and they're worth just probably 3 times that right now. And then check out this ad with Team Murray. How freaking awesome is this? It says awesome, but that is just awesome. I just love it. All right, we got a Robinson ad, and this is pre the firm, so this is before GT owned them. And man, one-piece cranks, you know, everybody ran these, and I don't know, they were horrible cranks, but you know, it was what it was. Rob Fade in the GT ad, and GT going all out with the 2-page ad, you know. GT, Mongoose, Diamondback, they're just going to battle in these magazines and all these ads, you know. I always thought GT bikes were beautiful, by the way. Big thing. We got a Schwinn ad here. It's a pretty cool ad. And a more clothing ad here. Looks like an Amy ad. You know, I never really bought any other Amy products other than the grips, which is kind of funny, come to think of it. Hill on Hill. There's what looks to be Greg Hill's bike. How freaking awesome is that? I would totally ride that right now. Charlie Williams got on GHP. That was pretty cool. And then you got this big Kuahara ad. You know, look at this, man. They were really serious about their advertising back in the day. And then Tough Neck products. I had this power disc. Definitely had that. I had a laid back seat post at one point in time, and I being short, I didn't really need it. It's just everybody had one. I wanted one. Went back to a straight seat post after a while. And you got the CW ad here. Awesome. Look at Greg still racing. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to race him. And then you got your small ads here. And then, of course, check it out. SE Racing, Scott Brythop. Now, man, how cool is this that there it says we make it happen, you know, and SE products are still super popular thanks to Todd Lyons. And it's just so cool to see kind of the beginning of this. And it's weird because I see kids riding the big bikes, riding the PK Rippers and all that, and they don't even know the significance behind what they're riding. You know, the landing gear forks, all this stuff. This is our history. Sometimes I want to sit down and lecture them. I go, do you even know what SE stands for? Do you know that Scott Enterprises? I just want to kind of sit down and talk to them sometimes. Do you know what PK Ripper is? Did you know that's Perry Kramer? You know, it's just funny. You know, I take this stuff too serious. And of course you got your BMX freestyling book. And then one more tire ad, and coming from a company called IRC. And then that's about it, guys. We're coming towards the end, and you know, I ran through this magazine in about 29 minutes, less than 30 minutes. But hey, I want to, if you hung around that long, thanks a lot for checking out this video. And then we'll leave you with this one. We got the finish line, and we got Bobby Woods jumping over an RX-7. And oh man, I would kill to have that car right now. But that's amazing. Amazing. Anyway, thanks guys. Sorry the video was so long, but I hope you stuck around to kind of look through this. And If I get a lot of views on it, maybe it's something I'll do again because I got other magazines obviously I can go through. But thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.